Half looks like Dale Sr., half looks like, oh, Iceman, Terry Labonte. LOL.
Made that great run at Q1. Lowest qualified car, but when you look at the field, she's still very competitive. If one of these teams miss, that will open the door for Sienna. Door slam shut on the HendrickCars.com Summit Racing Equipment Camaro in lane 1. The rookie, Sienna Wildgust, in lane 4. Last pre-stage.
Nice, they all took off together.
Anderson's
gonna be
close
close
to
to off.
30 reaction time. And will Quadra be able to get his nose in there? The answer is no. Anderson 6:51.2. Dallas Glenn 6:52.5. David Quadra a 55. Wildgust a 58. It is Anderson and Glenn moving on.
Well, they sure teamed up on Quadra there. I mean, the first two drivers off the starting line in this order were David Quadra and then Greg Anderson. A very good, very competitive 0:30 reaction time. That is quick, but in 60 feet, Greg Anderson made up the difference. Right alongside of him was Dallas Glenn, his teammate, in that number 2 lane.
Greg Anderson, low ET for the round. Dallas Glenn matched Erica to the 3rd digit right of the decimal point. That is 1,000th of a second, both running 6:52.5. Let's catch up with Bruno.
The quick reacting Aaron Stanfield advances, actually wins his
with the likes of Arana Johnson and Van Zandt. On the racetrack right now, Richard Gadsden, Gianna Evaristo, Ellie Tonglet, and Ryan Ayler. It's the first time the Jasmine Salinas and her sister Gianna Evaristo have been able to race at the same event together. Jasmine's advanced. Gianna wants to do the same thing. And Richard Gadsden, the Revzilla Suzuki in lane 1. Ellie Tonglet on a similarly prepared Suzuki in lane 3. And Ryan Ayler on his V-twin in lane 4.
And really for Gianna as well as Ryan Ayler, they have to step up to the plate if you want to beat and advance over Gadsden and Ellie.
Tonglet nearly perfect at 007. Gadsden looks as though he might have enough motorcycle to stay ahead of Evaristo, and it is Gadsden 6:85.3 at 199, beats a 6:85.8, but it is Tonglet the quickest of all, 6:74.5 with a 007 light. Ayler is knocked out with a 7:01.
Yeah, and there was a couple of things that made this a little bit closer, a little too close for comfort for Richard Gadsden. You can see that Gianna was in the race, and it just seems like his bike fell off based on how we saw him perform during qualifying. And for Ellie Tonglet, he has a performance, a double.
A rat racing motorcycle in lane number 4. All the motorcycles now locked in. Here we go. Torno gets the jump.
Red one looks nice. Red one looks nice. Yes.
Horsepower, though, and it is going to be lanes 2 and 3 again. 6:74.7 for Matt Smith. 6:805 for Hector Rana Jr. Outrunning a 6:82 of Klontz and a 6:93 for Ron Torno.
Yeah, well, Kelly Klontz really made it interesting. She did exactly what she needed to do. She got the jump, at least off of Hector Rana Jr. But again, horsepower just won out. Ron Torno in that far lane. Very respectable run, but the two better qualified bikes were Hector Jr. and Matt Smith, repeating what they did during qualifying.
And this, the photo shot, or the
he's on ahead there,
showing Hector Rana Jr. crossing just ahead of Kelly Klontz on his Gettrex motorcycle.
Blue one right there.
This is Gage Herrera's on-bike camera, the Suzuki on-bike camera. And for this week's Suzuki Science of Speed, we're core stock and pro stock motorcycle.
Gage Herrera has been the name everybody's been talking about in pro stock.
At least on the starting line is Gage Herrera's equal. The Trick Tools bike also tuned by Tim Kalungian.
Green.
28 green for Herrera, 29 green for Van Zandt, 21 green for Herrera, for Arana Sr., but it's going to be Herrera and Van Zandt. A 680 and a 669 outrun the 699 and 696 of Steve Johnson and Hector Rana Sr. The two young guys move on around 2.
Well, right where we expected Gage Herrera to be off the starting line in performance, and Chase Van Zandt taking a shot at Steve Johnson, knowing that Steve was the better qualified bike, but for Steve Johnson, within the first 60 feet, maybe a little too much tire slippage, did not perform the way he had in qualifying.
Let's talk to Angie Smith. She's with Bruno.
It's great to see Angie Smith out here, not only racing with us, but turning on win lights. You had a bad year last year. You kind of erased that from the memory bank. How good is the bike you have right now?
I have a really, really great bike. I didn't show the potential of my bike on that run. I've been struggling for the last 24 hours with a horrible migraine, and I'm just coming out here. The guys just said, do the best you can do. You know, we got to win light. That's all I can ask for. Thank you to everybody that helps us. Denso, Mark and Marshall Stockseth, Outlaw Beer, and Greg Butcher Trucking, Smith Trucking's in the house, and I couldn't do anything without all of you support. Thank you.
Racing with the migraine, Angie. Don't forget about Michael Jordan's famous fever game, one of the most famous games in NBA history. He won while feeling well under the weather. Herrera, Van Zandt, Smith, and Hall on one side.